Thank you all.
No, hold on.
You do have some.
Yeah, we're trying to coordinate here.
Okay.
I do have a question on frontline worker pay.
Sure.
You noted the system's going live tomorrow.
Sure.
How did your administration decide to go forward with that? It sounded like it was right up to the last minute of whether it was going to be a go or no go.
Yeah. This is a really good question. The question was on the online portal for signing up for the frontline worker pay. And the question is that, this was signed in May. We had a short amount of time. We had to issue an RFP to get a vendor to be able to do this. Here's what I would say. The reason that we went forward with this, every time we do one of these, because some of you, if you remember when the crisis of the administration was MNLARS? Can we all just remember when that was the biggest thing that we were dealing with? And we fixed that. We, bipartisan legislators, fixed it by going back out, creating the Blue Ribbon Panel led by Rick King, by tech experts in the community and our in-house folks. And we have a process now where, just like launching a spaceship, we go through go, no-go with each of this. Tech, back office, this all the way down. And this morning I was on with our vendors and they said, it's not first come, first serve. It's 45 days. You can sign up anytime in those 45 days. And I said, if we have learned nothing from MNLARS and vaccinations, every person in Minnesota will sign up at 8 a.m. tomorrow at the exact same time. I said, give me your assurance how we will do this. There's a redundancy of how it's built in. I had them walk me through signing up for it, clicking the boxes, showing me what happens, and how do I get confirmation. Walking through the fraud pieces of it and the ability on the cybersecurity of the back office side of doing this. So I've told them, and this is the only way to fix this, is again, we go through it and I'm the last one to do the go, no go. There have been times when I've said no go on some of these major launches in different agencies where they've gone back to do it. Some of you have heard me say this. We did not publicize it at the time, but we migrated live the entire lottery at the same time. And my question was, what happens if there is 1 million false winners tomorrow for the jackpot? What are we going to do? And all of those things were built in. So the decision was made. One of the reasons why we came up right to the wire, not just to mention the time was short, we started working on this 9 months ago in anticipation we would get this and it would happen so that that time period would be short. The last piece of the puzzle was the translations into the languages. And the Somali language came online this morning and we had our verifiers there, our translators and things saying, yes, this works. So that was the reason why it was the time crunch. But just to be clear, our team was doing most of that back work for the last 9 months. Once we got the parameters and the authorization on May 23rd, we moved forward. So we'll be ready. So now, of course, I'm sure tomorrow morning will be an interesting time, since I said so.
Take a slight step back.
Oh, sorry.
Right in the mics there. Okay.
Sorry.
And what's your confidence level that people will be able to get in the door, get their application in properly, and not have some complications, as you mentioned, with some of these other systems?
Yeah, it's high, and I would, in all seriousness, tell people it is not first come, first serve. We take all the applications before they're processed in the 45 days, and then after that, there's an appeal time period in this. So my confidence level is high for the volume of what we can handle. My confidence level is high with the number of people and the scalability of customer service reps. I've asked them to make sure they have, and we can increase it to about 75 on-site, real live people, phone lines if anything happens in addition. And I would tell Minnesotans on this, how this was structured and how it was done. It is an online application process only. So we've got navigators prepared to help some folks who might have trouble doing that or might need to do it at a library or something like that. But my confidence level is we've gotten really good at this. You have not heard this since MNLARS, and we've turned some legacy systems over in that time. I think the Blue Ribbon Commission for dealing with tech is the model for so many of these. So I have a high confidence level, and just like in COVID, if we do get a backlog on that, we need to correct it as quickly as possible to make sure that the user experience is as good as possible. My goal is we've got 45 days to capture all the eligible people. We need to do that. If there are some glitches in the early hours, you can rest assured that we're prepared to deal with that, and we have the next 44 days to get them on board.
Governor, you sent some of the chairs, or you and legislative leaders sent the chairs off to do some homework assignments ahead of a possible special session. Are you getting any reports back? Is anything budget?
Yeah, public safety met yesterday. I got that report yesterday. There's some happening today. I talked to Commissioner Snell and Harrington in person yesterday with our team, that they are making progress. It appears like there's a little bit of a change, that Senate Republicans are leaning towards more of a pension bill rather than a hiring bill. But I think they're still there. I will make the case. This was a big deal. All those other things I listed, from reinsurance to UI to frontline worker to veterans, were big deals. The public, Minnesotans, want us to get this, and I will still contend we're very, very close. I've done this long enough to know what far away looks like. We're very, very close, and I am committed to coming back to that table, reach a compromise.
Has there been a shift in attitude since the session ended to now, with your counterparts in the Senate wanting to come back more or less?
You know, I don't want to speak for them. They were a little upset that I articulated how they were feeling. And I think what they were saying was I was more optimistic than they were. So I want to clarify, I still remain very optimistic. I don't want to speak for them, but my take on this was, the longer you spend at home, the more you were going to hear from people who wanted to get this done. I mean, I don't know how you walk away from the largest tax cut in Minnesota history. I just really don't, especially if you're quibbling about $30 million in a $1 billion education budget. It seems to me like that's the part to come to some conclusion. So I can't speak. I don't want to say where they're at. I will say that I believe they're negotiating in good faith at this point, and the commitment was to give the chairs this week to report back to us, and all I got was the readout on public safety at this point. I'll get the rest today and tomorrow.
Come back and
Yeah.
tell you, and then you decide whether it's fruitful or not, or what?
I think it's to come back, maybe bring in those chairs to set with Speaker Hortman and Leader Miller and ourselves, and see where we can work that deal out. Because I'm still, as I said, I won't negotiate with myself in public like this, but I will be very public. I'm willing to negotiate, change, and compromise to get this thing over the line. We need to get money back in the pockets of Minnesotans. We need to make sure that we reduce the costs that go into it, and that we're funding, again, this is one piece of the mental health piece. There's others still hanging out there in the other bills, the DHS bill and others. So there is more money to continue this next step that's in the other bills. And so I think now's the time to do it.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thanks, folks.